Jon Jones dominates UFC 309. He's back. He's the GOAT.
Yep. Let's talk first. Eduardo Moura. She showcased her strength and composure to secure a unanimous decision victory over Veronica Hardy.
The first fight of the night, correct?
In the flyweight division, correct.
Yes.
Moura's crisp striking and effective counters opened the door to find the takedowns and control, rebounding well from her first career loss and moving to 2-1 in the UFC. Oban, the Welsh gangster Elliott, displayed sharp striking and flawless footwork to secure a show-stopping third-round knockout over Bassil Hafez.
He's a fun guy to watch.
Absolutely.
Good personality. He's one to watch out for in the future.
Yep. Elliott worked the body to set up the powerful shots and unleashed a monstrous right hand that dropped Hafez. Hafez couldn't stop Elliott's gangster-like precision as the Welshman strutted away like a true superstar. It was a good fight. Ramiz Brahimaj earned his first career KO over Gall in the welterweight division.
Brutal KO.
Brutal KO. The underdog set up powerful shots with clinch work before landing a devastating left-right combo that sent Gall to the canvas and handed Gall his fourth straight UFC loss.
Good job by the referee. I think DC pointed this out. Didn't let Gall take any extra shots.
Yeah.
That guy was out.
Out completely. Marcin Tybura dominated Jhonata Diniz early with near-perfect ground control and devastating elbows, which caused a doctor stoppage, after the second round.
It was a pretty bad cut.
It was. They probably could have gone, but I agree. You don't want to get hit in that too many times. It could do permanent damage.
Pretty bad cut, and this was a stylistic matchup where it was the kickboxer versus the all-around fighter.
Right.
That had a ground game. Tybura had a nice game plan in this one.
Yep. Tybura gets back into the win column after losing really only to the UFC's top contenders. David Onama, despite being a minus 2,500 favorite, was faced with tough competition in UFC newcomer Roberto Romero. Onama's striking and grappling prowess helped secure the unanimous decision victory.
He kind of ran out of gas towards the end.
Yep. While Romero displayed grit and determination, it just wasn't enough to stop Onama's adaptability.
Yeah. There was a UFC vet versus a guy making his debut.
Yeah. And speaking of UFC vets, Jim fucking Miller showcased his timeless, tested battle skills against Damon Jackson.
That was such a sick ghillie.
Yeah, it was. Miller weathered Jackson's early storm, countered the Leech takedown with a vice-like choke, causing Jackson to tap for just the second time in his career.
And then shouted out Peanut the Squirrel.
Yeah, needed reparations for that squirrel. Moving on to the finale of the prelims, the maniac Marcus McGhee put the striking of Jonathan Martinez to the test and passed that test with flying colors as McGee's pressure and volume overwhelmed Martinez early.
The thing I was most impressed with is McGhee pretty much fought the last round of this fight with one leg.
You're right. Despite Martinez hurting McGhee, like he just said, McGhee toughed it out and did everything he had to do to win 29-28.
Martinez had opportunity.
Yeah,
in the third round, if he doesn't clinch up, keep going for that leg. He was about to get a leg knockout.
We've talked multiple times, because we've covered Martinez and Gutierrez. They have dominating leg kicks, and if they use them, they can put people
just
out.
keep going.
Yeah, you
because
should
his
have
leg
kept
was
going.
Fucked.
He looked kind of flat the whole fight, though.
He did.
Martinez's respect, or McGee's respect.
It was a good fight from McGhee, though.
Now, McGhee is quietly 4-0 in the UFC.
He's a fun guy to watch,
Let's go straight to the first fight of the main card.
Another fun guy to watch.
Catchweight, Mauricio Ruffy taking on Hafez Llontop.
Ruffy, they mentioned it before the fight. Joe said it. He reminds him of fight style and the way he fights and how exciting he is of Conor McGregor. And, you hear that and you're like, oh, Joe's just, being exaggerating. Then he comes out, Ruffy that is, and has Conor's exact karate stance. I mean, he looked like Conor McGregor fighting out there.
Yeah, he does. He's a strong fighter. Now, he didn't get the knockout this time. I believe he has maybe one other decision win or all prior.
Yeah, he ended up getting a unanimous decision over Llontop. Llontop did come in on short notice.
Yeah, it was a catchweight fight. I believe it was originally scheduled for lightweight and then catchweight at 166, and then Llontop went, or maybe 165.
165 is
and then Llontop weighed in at 166. It was a clear decision victory for Mauricio Ruffy. He got the knockdown. He didn't get as many strikes off as Llontop. Llontop showed a lot of pressure early.
But boy, he had the devastating shots. He hurt.
Yeah, he got the hurt
His shots were hurting.
He couldn't put Llontop out, and I think that has to do with that difference in weight class, if you want to call it that. You know, moving
I
up.
think Llontop's just a tough dude. He's from Peru.
Yeah.
From the streets of Peru.
14-5 in his career.
He looks like a tough guy.
Yeah, he definitely fought like a tough guy. Not anything against Ruffy. There's just nobody yet in his UFC future that
just
I
keep
have
building
my
him
eyes
up.
on.
He's still an exciting prospect. He's, I think you put him on a main card of a fight night where he's like the co-main or maybe the third to last fight. He's an exciting guy. People will watch him. Just keep building this guy up.
Absolutely, we agree. Next up, Vivian Araujo versus Karine Silva in the women's flyweight division.
Araujo with the unanimous decision win over Silva.
Yep. Round by round, Araujo got more active, more better, if you want to use my word prowess. Karine Silva, just another one. She just seemed kind of flat-footed. She didn't match Araujo on the striking. She didn't do, the groundwork that she needed to do. She just got kind of beat everywhere. Looking back at Araujo's career, though, kind of took for granted she's 13-6 in her career. 4 of her losses are against top 10 women flyweights in the UFC.
Yeah,
I looked that over completely. Now she's older, that usually plays a factor. It didn't this time.
She proved she still has it. She proved she's still, maybe if she's not at the top echelon of the division, she's right under them.
Right. So keeping in terms that she has 4 top 10 losses in the UFC, she's now, she's still in the top 15 herself. At 37, I have 3 options for her to fight potentially.
Okay.
I got Tracy Cortez coming off a loss, Jessica Andrade, which is kind of a step up the rankings a couple spots, or if we're gonna say like Araujo's the gatekeeper, for that ranking position, maybe give her somebody underneath her, Ariane Lipski da Silva.
It's not a bad one. I actually like the Jessica Andrade fight.
I do too. When I saw it, she doesn't have a fight scheduled. A couple
doesn't
fights
have a fight
above her.
scheduled, like you said.
Couple rankings above her.
Couple above her. She's proven. She's only lost against the best.
Right.
So why not give her another shot? She's beating the. You put girls that are underneath her, ranked below her. She's winning.
Yeah.
So give her another chance.
I'll take it.
Especially after a nice performance on a pay-per-view card.
Speaking of nice performances, let's talk about one that wasn't so nice in the middleweight division. Bo Nickal got his unanimous decision win, and deservedly so, over Paul Craig.
I think it's somewhere in between. There were people, Bo Nickal saying it was a great performance where he came out and did his game plan. Yeah, that might be true. People are saying it was a bad performance from him, boring. That might be true. I think it's somewhere in the middle where if you take away all the hype and everything around Bo Nickal and like the pre-fight odds.
Right. Huge, by the way.
It was a solid performance from Bo. Not a great one, but a solid one. And it's a nice win to put on your resume. But
yeah, I mean,
it did kind of leave a little.
Paul Craig beat Magomed Ankalaev, and you got
beat Jamal Hill.
Yeah, you got Bo Nickal now beating Paul Craig. So it is a very good win for Bo Nickal's resume.
It just wasn't the most exciting, Listen, Bo knew he could take Paul down anytime he wanted, but he also knew Paul could choke him anytime he wanted.
Right.
So he just avoided. And honestly, looking back, it's probably going to be good he had a fight where he came out won by scorecard without using his wrestling at all for his development.
Yeah, he just needs to.
Not that Paul Craig he's not known as like a great striker or anything. But
right. But Paul's wants you to kind of shoot on him so he can just pull guard and choke you.
Paul's also been known to like
get your triangle or whatever.
He's easy to hit
because
you can hit him a lot. But Bo really didn't do that. He outpointed him, but it's not like Bo beat him up.
Yeah, it was a clear 30-27 win for Bo Nickal. The hard thing is, obviously the UFC's pumping this guy up. Where is his next fight come from? Where is the 7-0 UFC vet at this point?
I think he beat Paul Craig. Was Paul Craig ranked? I don't think he was. I think Bo's going to get a rank.
No, he wasn't.
He's going to get a guy in like the 12 to 15 range.
So 15th rank, coming off a loss. You got, he's on my list, Michel Pereira. He just fought Fluffy, Anthony Hernandez.
Yeah. For some reason, I'm just...
big ground fight for Hernandez. So this is one that could benefit Nickal.
Yeah.
But you got Pereira on that hand, who has a bunch of sub wins himself.
It's dangerous. I don't know if the UFC gives him Pereira.
Next, other option, Paulo Costa, number 11, 2 losses in a row. He's ranked 11.
I like when I saw Jack Hermanson. I think it's a guy he can wrestle. So
Yeah.
another wrestle versus wrestle matchup.
So
but he's a guy who can wrestle, but he's also a guy that's not like Paul Craig, where he's going to be
So I picked
throwing triangles out.
I like Hermanson, but I picked a slightly different route. I picked the guy who Hermanson beat. Another up-and-comer, Joe Pyfer. Big striking deficit matchup where Bo Nickal might have to use the wrestling.
I don't think the UFC wants either one. I think the UFC likes both
they're
those
both
guys.
trending to get like parallel universes.
I think they like both of those guys.
Yeah.
They don't want them to quite yet
That's the
to
reach
match
of
up.
all. Because in my mind, if they need a fight, they could make that happen. Because you have to like, all right, who's going to go?
They're like the
first?
same guy, except one
has
chose
a specialty
wrestling,
one has a specialty in striking.
Yeah, I mean, he has a ton of options.
I like
Obviously,
Hermanson,
the
though. I didn't
UFC
think
is
of
going to try to
Hermanson.
build him up. I think Hermanson. I think the UFC is still looking for Bo Nickal, where entertaining fight, challenge for him, but relatively safe.
Yeah, I like Jack Hermanson as the next one. Charles Oliveira versus Michael Chandler.
Charles Oliveira dominated Michael Chandler for 4 rounds.
Pretty much the second time. I mean, he almost got knocked out the first time, but he got clipped in the 5th round this time. So it's almost
Instead
the
of getting
same
clipped
fight.
in the first round, like he did the first time they fought, that's Charles Oliveira.
He
He
waited
got clipped
till
in the
the
5th round.
49-46, 49-46, 49-45 scorecards.
I think that second round was definitely a 10-8 round where Oliveira.
Yeah.
I mean, Chandler really had no answer for Oliveira. He got success in the 5th round just when Oliveira was probably a little bit tired just from controlling Michael
Scoring
Chandler the whole
5
night.
out of 12 takedowns with like almost 15 minutes of control
And there was the same
time.
thing. Michael Chandler drops him. He has a chance. It's looking like he's going to finish him. Oliveira just has a way to.
But it's not the same thing as like Jhonata Martinez did. Michael Chandler was
trying all he could.
throwing himself down on his back like, you could kill somebody doing that. He's like, whatever.
Yeah, the end of the fight where he stood up twice and just.
Slammed himself back.
Which he did. He knew it wasn't going to work. He did it just for pure.
Yeah, like.
Because he walked to the middle of the octagon, looks up.
I think he said,
looks
"Fuck
around,
it."
and he said, "Fuck it."
Slammed.
Got up and did it again.
Imagine how strong you have to be.
Well, that's what they were saying. He's squatting Charles Oliveira right
grown
now.
man, he from a lay down position
After a whole fight where you got dominated.
and a weight cut, rehydrate, like the whole thing. That's crazy. Good athleticism.
But
there.
I mean, Charles Oliveira proves he's still that guy. He's
Yeah.
still right at the top of the division.
Cements himself as the top contender. The next title fight
He
after
gets the winner of
Saruki and Makachev.
because he arguably his split decision lost to Sarukian, where even Joe and I think John Anik were like, yeah, we rewatched it. Like I think he won 2 of the rounds.
Still the same. Feel the same way.
I mean, Charles Oliveira is the man.
I think Oliveira gets the
and I think
the title shot next. Yeah.
and I think Michael Chandler said it was like, if you're an MMA fan, he might have said it in the lead up to the fight. If you're an MMA fan and you don't love Charles Oliveira, you're not
He's
an
in
MMA
Kick
fan.
Rocks.
Yeah,
He's
Kick
like, yeah,
Rocks.
Kick Rocks.
Charles
Because
Oliveira's
somebody in the presser said, like, fuck Charles or something like that. And he was like, nah. We love Charles. Like, I love Charles. If you don't like Charles, you're not an MMA fan, so Kick Rocks.
Charles Oliveira's the man.
Yeah, he is. Do Bronx. I hope he wins this title so we can finally get Makachev out of the driver's seat of the lightweight division. At least for a moment.
All right, Alex, let's move on. Main event.
Yep, main event time.
Jon Jones, still that dude. Stipe
Retired.
Probably should have retired before this fight.
Yeah.
Jon Jones with the 3rd round TKO of Stipe, body kick, and then a couple shots on the ground. But you saw what his injuries were for Stipe?
What?
Broken ribs, lacerated spleen, and liver.
Oof. Imagine just taking a foot to the ribs and it.
Well, I mean, he had to be hurt because you've never seen Stipe just, besides
Keel
when he got
over.
knocked out,
Right.
him just drop like that. That was crazy.
Yeah,
but
the
Jon
heavy-
Jones, I mean, this was a vintage performance. This was Jon Jones, like what he did in his heyday at light heavyweight,
Right.
but he was just fat doing it.
Right. Yeah. Pretty much.
I mean, it was
pure
just
domination.
pure domination, overall an impressive performance. There's nothing you can say like Jon Jones is the fucking man.
Yeah, Jon Jones, dominant performance over Stipe. He's the GOAT. He beat the heavyweight GOAT, makes him bigger
He's had
of a GOAT.
2 heavyweight fights.
And then
Cyril Gane wasn't even a fight.
Absolutely.
And then this was hardly even a fight. It's just that Stipe's tough, and
Yeah, it's
because he was beating Stipe. His first takedown of Stipe, when he like tricked him and then like I don't know what he did, but
Oh yeah, no, I know what you're talking about.
That first
it's
takedown-
clever. He has like the strongest fighting IQ of all time. That's
Yeah.
what makes him
and it was like, holy
an impressive
shit. And
fighter.
his reach
or
is
not
insane.
an impressive fighter. That's what makes him even more of an impressive
Yeah.
fighter because of how much he's willing to learn about you before he fights you.
Yeah, I mean, he was just overall a dominant performance.
Yeah.
Jon Jones, I mean, I know he's saying he wants Alex Pereira. Dana White doesn't want any of that. Doesn't really make sense in my opinion.
Yeah,
It has to be Tom Aspinall if he fights again.
I agree. So like, is the question? I guess is that it for Jon Jones?
He said it's not.
He said it could be though.
Yeah, but
I think it's all a ploy. Like it's all just
yeah, I mean, I think Jon Jones at the end of the day loves doing this and he needs it. For right now, he's still only 37, which heavyweight, you still got a few. Like you can fight into your 40.
Have you
Glover won the
seen-
title at 44,
I
42.
don't know when Aspinall said it. I saw it today, maybe yesterday. He said Jon Jones loves to watch tape, and he's like, I love to watch tape too, but the problem with me is I've gotten 7 finishes in the UFC with an average fight time of 2 minutes, so there's nothing on me to watch.
Yeah, but that's
And
also
he's like, I've got 20 years of Jon Jones experience to watch.
But that's also a double-edged sword because
Right.
it's also you've never been out of this like a
You've never
minute.
been
He's
in the
been
deep
in
waters.
he's been in the second round for like a minute and he
Right.
knocked. I forgot who it was. He knocked somebody out. So it's like
Pavlovich, maybe.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the
wanna see
fight to
that
make.
fight. I think everybody wants to see that fight, given especially the crowd's reaction every time Jon Jones was in the building. Jon Jones not doing interviews because he knew it was going to be about Aspinall.
About Aspinall.
Everybody knows that this is the fight to make. If you're Jon Jones, it's just, as he said outright, it's just about how much money am I going
And
to
then
make.
besides that, it's the guy that's you made this guy defend his interim title.
that's nuts.
Like it's the interim champ versus the champ. It has to be.
Yeah.
Or else just give up the belt and leave. Or
Yeah.
go do a super fight. Yeah, you can do that. But
You could do a super fight in the heavyweight, but like that would
but
be
I mean,
Ngannou.
at this point, does anybody want to see Jon Jones versus Alex Pereira?
I don't. I mean,
It's
I
gonna be
would definitely
just.
watch it.
I would watch it, but it's gonna. I love Alex Pereira. I don't want to see that because Jon Jones is.
Yeah, it's not even as a big of a what if. Like, what if Alex Pereira just hits him with the right hand and then he or the left hand and then he falls? Well, he could, but
More than likely, it's
More
going to be
than
Jon
likely
Jones gets a
not.
hold of him and
Yeah, just-
beats him as fast as he beat Cyril Gahn.
with 12-6 elbows
yeah.
to the face. So,
But yeah.
Jon Jones is the GOAT. I hope he fights Aspinall. That's it for UFC's 309.